Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Aska, where you, the audience, get to ask questions of somebody you may not get to interact with on a day-to-day basis. It's a place to grow.
That's two in a row. You said
it's a place to grow, learn, understand for everyone. And hey, that's the glue. I'm one of your hosts, Big Irish Jay Hollingsworth.
And I'm KevOnStage, and this is Ask a Producer with Henny the Bizness.
What's happening?
The business.
Yes, sir.
I first heard about you from that tag. So it's kind of interesting to say I knew about you before I knew you.
Okay.
Because I heard you from the dig it up, I want to love you. Like that was
right.
The thing. And then I presented at a United Negro College Fund where you won an award.
Yep.
I hosted and you were there in Seattle.
Yeah, that was
so that was
2013.
2013.
Yeah.
So you are known for, if you had to name, making music for the following, or music beats, what do you call it?
As far as what? Yeah, I'm a music producer. I produce music for, you saying the artist?
Name the people.
Oh, man.
Stunt your stunt,
Okay.
talk your talk.
All right. Well, I work from everybody from Chris Brown, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, Lil Wayne, T-Pain, Brandy, Monica.
Any white artists? He goes immediately. He goes,
Ted Nugent.
Leonard Skinnard, Tony Bennett. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty good resume.
That's crazy.
50 Cent, G-Unit, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, 213. It just, over the year, I just got to keep thinking.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So you list those people off, right? Are you, or how often are you commissioning, like, for this person, or are you just making beats? And I don't know, how do they get into the hands of the artist?
So a lot of us producers, when you're starting out, you're just making beats, right? You're just finding the career, like the whatever that piece of equipment that you're going to use, that digital audio workstation, that DAW, whether you're using something like a Fruity Loops or Logic or
I've heard
Pro Tools, all of those types of situation, right? And you're just cooking up ideas, trying to get beats to anybody, whether it's an independent artist. But your dream is to work with the artists that you've seen and that you've grown to love. So it's kind of like, it's the grind, it's kind of luck, it's kind of giving up to get a little bit further. You know how the game go. Know how the game go.
You also have a great speaking voice.
Oh man, I appreciate that.
So interesting. We're going to talk mostly about your music. But Josh, our head of
about it all.
Yeah. He put me on to you as far as like a content creator standpoint.
Right.
He was like, yo, Kev, you know Henny the producer? I was like, oh, yeah. He from Washington. You know we know about each other.
We're from the town.
Yeah. And he was like, yo, he's also like a dope digital creator, and you have a popping YouTube channel.
Working on it.
So how, like, it seems like you're equally as interested in music as you are like video content creation as well. How did that come about?
I always, it was funny because, even going all the way back to like junior high, trying to make gangster videos and, like when Snoop first came out and it was just trying to mimic that. I always had a fascination for cameras just as much as it was music. And, I would try to, I think I bought my first video camera before I bought my first like digital recorder. So it was like keyboard, digital, like keyboard, camera, keyboard.
Yeah.
And I put it down as I got more successful in music, but it just kind of came full circle, 6-7 years ago when I was just like, when I kind of got that award in Seattle, it's kind of like when my idea about what my life was going and what God had for me was a little different. And it was like, all right, I think I have a voice. I think I have something to say. And I didn't know what that was until I started just trying to show people how I did music on an iPad. And that was just the trajectory of where it's been now. So.
And that's the thing that I think is, I wanted to spend some time talking about.
It's all good.
You are, I don't know if this is the term, but I want to say, I mean, I guess it's all electronic, but you are a digital producer.
Yeah.
When you use a lot of new technology, you make, I watched one of your YouTube videos where you made a full beat on your iPad.
Yeah.
How?
So into 2014, I came to grips that me and my business partner at the time, Dow Jones, we were kind of going in different directions. And when, I'm the creative and he's the business, and I'm like, yo, I got to start all over. And I don't really know how to get in front of people and get them excited about me. Cause at that time our music was there and it was coasting, right? We had a high and then we were coasting. And, I was like, yo, I got to figure something out because I needed something that would that revolutionized something inside of me, as well as show somebody else that it was dope.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, what's up with this iPad? I had a little iPad Air, and I had all this studio equipment. We had signed a new publishing deal, had all this extra paper to spin around, and I just shut the studio down and said, can I do this like I was 18 years old with one piece of equipment like I was in high school? And it was the iPad.
Did you even know if you could or not?
A little bit. It was like 50%, right? I was like,
why you shut the studio down? You shut the studio down off at the 50?
I'm that guy. I'm like, yo, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go all the way in. If people that know me, they know I'm either 100% in or 100% out.
That's all I am.
Yeah.
That's why I don't lose weight.
All right. Hey, me neither. We're the same size.
It works for you sometimes, and
Yeah.
it doesn't work for you
Right.
sometimes.
Period.
Yeah. So so it worked.
Yeah. Over years.
With that, was there certain software you're downloading for that? Or
Yeah, there was this app called Beatmaker, right? It was Beatmaker 2, and oddly enough, I did this. They made an app like when apps first started coming out in like 2009, 2010, and it was just for the iPhone. And I remember people doing an article about me making a beat on the iPhone.
Okay.
So I did a beat on the iPhone, and I was like, this could be something, and that was like 6 years later, right? That I was like, or 6 years earlier, and then got with the iPad, and I was like, yo, this can work, and can I use like Dropbox to put my sounds in, and then can I use different ways, like how can I make this work? Is there like digital little small keyboards that I can work? And it just became like an obsession to see if it was possible. And a lot of people laughed at me in the beginning. I promise. I take it to the studio, and people like Polo the Don, Jermaine Dupri, a lot of guys are like, yo, that's not possible. And then I'd play stuff, and it would just be like, yo, okay. Oh, you might be going somewhere. And I got a call from a 305 number, and it was Timberland. Never spoke to him. And
Timberland called your phone?
Yeah, I was like, yo, he was like, yo, this is Timbo the King. And I was like,
He introduced himself like that?
it was crazy. I'm
Dang.
dead serious. I was like,
He did not say this is Timbo the King.
I promise you.
Really?
It was Timbo. It was Timbo the King. I was like, yo, what's happening?
That's how Kev calls me.
Yeah.
This Kev on stage, the king.
So
put it past me.
it was wild, but he was telling me that like he had heard that I was doing stuff on the iPad, and he wanted to know, how I was doing it and what types of things.
Oh, please tell me you big timed him. Hey,
I was so shook. I'm pacing up and down the house like, yo, trying to talk to him for like 40 minutes and just giving him all the tips I possibly could. And, he's like, let's stay in contact. I was shook. But
Timberland.
it was little parts like that where I'm like, okay, you're onto something.
Yeah.
You're onto something. So, yeah, that's kind of like, kind of how it progressed.
Now, as you make different songs, beats, I've always been curious about this. So a buddy of ours, he's a comic, and he wants to rap or whatever. So
yeah.
His side job, Roger Lazola. So his side gig is he was a chef, and he went out to Alaska for months, and he was cooking on this ship. But while he was out there for months, he's making beats on this, on his computer, on his laptop.
Right.
So he's playing some of them for me, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then he played one. I was like, dude, I'm telling you, that is a hit.
Right.
Is it the same with you? Like, as you're listening, as you're making different ones, do you get ones where you're like, I know 100% this is going to be, a hit, and versus like some of them you're like, okay, this is cool, and then you just have that one that you're like, I know.
It's crazy because, I've been making beats since I was 17 years old. I'm 39, and like over the years, I could tell you that I'm like, yo, this is the one. And it would always be something different. That was the one, right?
Really?
Yeah. So I
Same thing with videos.
Yeah, I was like, yo,
the one
this
you think
is it.
it don't be it. The
It
one you
don't-
think is nah, it
goes.
be it.
Yeah.
It goes, right? So it's always been that way. So as much as I think I know, I know what feels good to me, and I'll bump that in my car, but it'll be something so different that actually is the one that takes
Are you
off.
just like,
yeah.
that's what you like?
That's what you picked out of all those beats that I sent. That was the one, huh? Okay. And then you try to mimic it, and then you try to make something.
Yeah.
One of the issues for me was when I did Every Girl, Drake, Lil Wayne, back in 2009. It was the first hit. That was the first time the tag was actually introduced to the masses. Everybody wanted that same beat. And I was like,
I already made that beat.
I was like, yo, but
you want my old beats? Buy my old album.
had I done it a little bit more, I probably would have had even more of a run then. But
Yeah.
it's like, it's tough, right? You have something that does well, and you're like, how do I keep that momentum, right?
Yeah. So what do? You just like, I made that beat. Do they want to beat? Because music is definitely like that.
Right.
It's like that with beats. It's like that with rapping styles. Like before the Migos, nobody was doing that.
Straight up.
That triplet type rap. Migos pops. Everybody's doing that. I remember when Drake first popped, it was like, man, I don't know what style it was, but it was like last name greatest, first name, and like everything was like that.
Yeah.
I dropped bread, tomato. Like everyone was rapping like that for like 2 years.
Oh yeah.
And then it stops and somebody else is doing something, and then Travis Scott style, you know what I mean? So do you ever feel like you get stuck in a type of music? Because from what I've heard, I can't say like, I mean, well, maybe let me hear from you. Do you have like here's my style, so to speak?
I've been fortunate enough to always want to be versatile. So I was like, well, that's my, I was like, I've done that and that's good, but I can also do this. And it's kind of like it's hills and valleys, because you try to introduce something new and people might not bang with it, but then you get another opportunity to work with another artist. I think that's the gift of being able to have worked with so many artists, was the fact that I had so many different sounds,
Yeah.
And that gave me, it might not have given me the, the Metro Boomin look or the Mike Will or even like the Swizz and the Timberland, those big looks where they had constant hits that had very similar vibes. It was just kind of like, yo, I heard about them. I keep hearing about them. I was always just trying to do something different. And, luckily when me and Dow were running hard, it was just, he'd always get the beats in the right areas. So, yeah.
So what was it like? What would you say if it's one point that was your big break?
Oh, man. I talk about this a lot, but it was like 2004, 2005. I'm out here living in L.A., and my homegirl, she was a white girl who could sing really dope, and I brought her down to L.A. and she was getting all these looks about like people who wanted, interested in her. She's 18 years old. She has a beautiful voice, and so she was like getting in all these rooms. She was like, "Yo, I'm going to 21 Questions video shoot, right? Nate Dogg, 50 Cent." I was like, she was like, "Come up, I can get you in Nate Dogg's trailer." I'm like, okay, cool, right? I bring 2 CDs with 40 beats on them each, and I was like, all right. At this time, I was still struggling, hustling, trying to figure out how to get my music in front of anybody out here in LA, and got in the trailer. He's like, "Oh, I heard you had some stuff or whatever. Let me hear something."
Who's he?
This Nate Dogg.
Okay, Nate Dogg.
Yeah, Nate Dogg. So I'm sitting there nervous as all get out, and I play the beats, and he's like, "Just leave the CD." Leave the CD. I was like, okay, cool. So I was shook, walked down, and saw 2 other guys outside of the bigger trailer. I knew it was 50's trailer. I was like, I gotta get the 50.
Now you got no CDs?
I gotta get the 50. I got one more CD. Right? I left him one. I had another one. And there was 2 guys in the front, and I was like, yo, back then I was, named Jay Hen. I was like, yo, I'm Jay Hen. I got these beats, I'm working with Nate Dogg,
you already heard I'm working with Nate.
I'm trying to finesse.
Oh yeah,
I'm trying to finesse. I did not know. What I did not know, that was Young Buck and it was Young Buck and Lloyd Banks, but they hadn't popped yet, so it was just the dudes that were hanging with 50. So I gave it to Young Buck, and he got the CD, and he was like, all right, we're gonna play it. And I got a call back from Snoop Dogg's manager. I got a call back from G Unit. I got a call back, and I was there like, yo, we want these beats. We hold these beats to the side, hold this beat. And it was just
so Lies is your first break.
Yeah.
Lies.
Yeah.
Finesse. Complete finesse.
Just working with Nate Dogg on some stuff.
Yeah. So it was one of those moments where it's just like, just having the right amount of beats and, just not really always focusing in on trying to get to the A guy. Sometimes, so you work your way up.
All the time. That's some of the best advice I got with networking. You always want to go for the top, and you rise with the people
there you go
who are on your side. And also, a lot of times, it's the assistant, the young person in the group is the most influential person in the group. I got to work with Kirk Franklin over this last weekend.
Okay.
And it was because of his assistant. Personal assistant.
Yes,
My brother needed a haircut. Personal assistant was like, yo, we're fans. Y'all want to come to the studio? But I couldn't just hit Kirk Franklin up. So,
right.
That's interesting that it kind of always works like that. The people you usually would overlook are the ones that get you in the door.
Exactly.
Do you have a question, Jay? Because I have another one.
Go ahead. I'm just
My
listening.
question-
I was wondering if that was you're in with 213.
It is.
It
It
is.
was. Yeah.
Dude, that album was so sick.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy, right? 213 album comes out. It's like one of my biggest things to that date, and I'm trying to tell my parents the names of the song, and it was like My Dirty Hoe, and it was bad.
Joystick.
It was like my mom was like, well, at least you're working, and it was tough because I wanted my parents to be proud, but it was like I was grinding. I was out here trying to figure it out, and those records did well for me, and got me into a lot of these LA studios, but yeah, it was just a moment, man. For real.
So what was it like the first time you heard either your song or your tag on the radio, and you were like, because your song, you've had some that have been on the radio for a long time.
Yeah.
So what was it like the first time you were like, oh snap, I made that beat?
Oh, like one of the biggest ones was My President Is Black.
My Lambo is blue.
Young Jeezy, and it was like at that time we had moved. I got married. I moved to Atlanta, and we'd work with Jeezy, but he was like, I thought you were with G Unit, so he thought we made like hip hop break beats, and we were playing them like Southern tracks. And he took it. He called us back. He said, I got this record with Nas. And we were like, okay, it's like it's my president. It's about Barack Obama. And at this time, Barack, he had it was kind of like the anthem to trying to get him to the presidency.
Yeah, it was.
And
that song was almost coincided with him
exactly
like winning. It was like they were like one and the same almost. The timing of it, at least. And
to have that start to play on the radio during like the final parts of that initial campaign, I was like, yo, this is turning into something, right? I was so shook, and I was like, in Atlanta, and you'd hear people like have the big, Barack the Vote shirts on, and
we were all in it.
It was such a moment. And
John McCain for you, Jay.
I voted for Barack.
It's all good, brother. It's all good.
I voted for Barack. Please believe me.
But the moment that CNN reported that he won, it was like everybody's cheering, going crazy, and driving down anywhere in Atlanta, all you heard was that song. And I was like, this is insane. And so I went to the inauguration, and I'm like, we're at Club Love in DC, and I didn't know Jeezy was going to bring Jay-Z out and do the remix right there. And I'm just sitting in the crowd, and we're just chilling, and I'm with my wife, my brother, his friends, all them, and it's just like Jeezy comes out, and he's like, stop the music, and then Jay-Z comes out and comes in with the remix, and I'm just sitting there like, this is unbelievable. Wow. So it's just that moment right there. It's like, okay, you might be headed up. You know what I mean?
As everybody's gigging and everything.
Yeah. It was crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. So
I made that beat.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I didn't get it back. I didn't get to get backstage. I didn't get to dab them up, take pictures. I was just sitting there like, yo, all right, something's happening. So yeah, it was that record really is what did it.
Do you ever wish that sometimes you could get the limelight of like the I guess the face of the songs?
Well, I think that's probably why I tried so hard to get the tag on the beats, right?
Right.
I mean, it was. I tried to get the tag on My President. I tried to get the tag on some of the stuff way back when. They're like, you're a young guy. You don't like. You got to really like as a producer. Like now, it's a little bit more.
So you send it with the tag on, and they take it off.
Yeah, like you send the tag. You'd send the MP3. And it still had the tag on it. And then when they want the song, they ask you to send all the files. And that's all the instruments broken down.
Yeah. So they can mix it and stuff.
Yeah.
And master it.
And they'll basically take the, you know what you're talking about.
Right. Slave to my label, but I own my masters.
Right. They take the tag off. And it was like, you got to earn your stripes. So
what was the first time they kept the tag on?
Every girl. Lil Wayne, Drake, every girl in the world. Yeah. So
did you feel like finally I am here?
Yeah, that's when it changed. That's when it like everything changed for us, because the music's like the actual song started like tick, tick, the business. Tick, I like a long hair, thick, and it was just like they were like, "What's the business?" It was so prominent in that record that it was like the articles started coming and stuff, and it was just kind of like. That's when we lost our minds a little bit, because that's when, like you get a little like the light is such a powerful thing, and man, it's yeah, so that's when that happened for sure.
It's so amazing, like the whole process, because it's like, I imagine you make those beats alone.
Yeah.
In your room, in the
bedroom,
studio, wherever, and
Yep.
next thing you know, it's in a prominent artist's hands. Then it's on the radio, and everybody's singers, and it's like, it's not like you make it in the room with them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then they like, what is it like to make music and have somebody turn what you made into something better? You know, with lyrics and stuff. And you just like, man, that's crazy what they did with that.
It's an amazing. It can be very frustrating, but it can also be amazing. A lot of these songs, I'll be like, I would have done that. I would have done that. This is before it becomes a hit, you know. And I think part of my issue as being a beat maker and a producer, and the beat maker is the guy who's just kind of giving you the production, giving you that beat. The producer's the leader. The producer's the one who wants to bring the people around, who wants to make sure the vibe is curated, and always, like when you're in a session in a studio, somebody who can actually bring the musicians, the engineers,
More
the
the Khaled
songwriters.
part of producing.
Yes, like I wanted
DJ Khaled.
Khaled. Yeah.
Khaled.
I love it. Oh, wait. Oh, hold on. Let's take a moment
That was
here.
my list.
I love it. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to
You
clarify.
shut your mouth.
No, man. I
So you
mean,
can do both of those.
Yeah, that's what I always wanted to do.
Do you
And
like either part more or less?
I love producing. I love being that guy who can help even the guy who's, you know, the guitarist and the pianist and the, you know, the keyboardist, and bringing them all together to work with an artist and see the vision all the way through. That's always what I wanted to do, you know.
That's actually perfect for one of the questions was,
Yeah.
what tips do you have? What tips do you have for a young growing producer? And also, how can a new artist find a good producer?
Man, you know, the biggest thing about a young up and coming producer is, you know, you gotta, like right now in 2019, you gotta find that niche, right? Because everybody's doing, like, it's so inexpensive to make music, right? So it doesn't take much. Even showing people how to do it on an iPad with $5, $10, $15 apps, anybody can get started. You know, so
Anybody
that's
can cook.
And but yeah, exactly, anybody can get it going, right?
Yeah.
So what is your niche? Like how specific can you be about the music that you're creating and the sound that you're going to create, and how patient and consistent will you be to put your music out there for people to hear, especially on social platforms, in a way that, you know, you're finding the right people to target, finding that target audience. It's just like any other brand out here, you know, whatever thing that you're trying to do, it's the same thing. It's like finding a consistent niche for you to continually hammer in and try to find any way to add value to people's lives.
That's amazing, man. I think as creator, you know, me and Jay are comics, so we're always kind of creating. Do you ever, we ask all this to all people who kind of create that are on the show, do you ever feel like, man, I don't know if I could top that stuff I did, I'm running out of ideas? You ever feel like fearful of your ability to create?
Yeah, and how do you deal with like beater's block or beat block?
Yeah,
that's
That sounds like something else.
Beat block, writer's block. Yeah, well, yeah, it does. I do have issues where, you know, I run into, you know, like, what else am I gonna do? And even like being on YouTube, what am I talking about, and how focused do I need to be on a specific topic? But a lot of it is just giving yourself time. And so, you know, I think with the fact that I loved cameras, you know, going back and loved tech, a lot of my beat block, writer's block transitioned into, like, you know, let's figure out what the next tech is, or you know, let me.
So if
figure
you can't
out
make a beat,
cameras.
like, man, I'm trying to mess with these cameras for a little bit.
Mess with the camera, do other things that you're creative on, because your brain doesn't want to stop being creative.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
yeah.
You just got to figure out how to position it in a different way, and so that's what I did. And instead of hammering the wall and try to come up with something, some people have a different approach and say you just got to keep going at it until you find something. I'm like, just stop.
Right.
And try something else, and then usually if you come back, you might like that idea. You just were stuck in that moment. You know what I mean?
It's the same way with jokes.
Okay,
Sometimes you have an idea for a joke, and you just have a piece of it, and then years later you'll be like, "This is how I make that funny."
Dude,
You know what I mean?
that literally just happened to me yesterday.
Really?
I did Ponchos. It's like just a workout room, and I actually called Kane after the show. I was like, this joke I've had forever about how I don't like the word thanks.
Really?
Like, because I feel like it's insincere, and the whole joke is like if I say thank you, like I'm thanking you, that's only yours.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, thanks. It's like, there's a thanks. Go get one for yourself. You know. But I never knew how to end the joke. And last night, I said this certain thing, and I was like, that's it. It got a huge response at the end of the joke, and I told Kane, and this is a joke that I've had in the back pocket for probably 6 years. Wow. And I just now, I'm like, now I know how to end it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Same with beats. You know, you could have an idea that you started, and I've, you know, placed records and had records placed that were 5, 6 years. Like, it was just like, I did too much there, or I did, you know, I switched the drums up at the right time, and now it works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
So have you ever had a moment where you're in a room with people you never thought you'd be in a room with, and you're just like, man, this is surreal?
Don't say us.
Everything is surreal, man. Yeah.
This day.
Oh, man. The funny thing, even now, like today, being here, it's like
At my house?
yeah, like right now is like, I think about my career and how I've tried to pivot into being more on building a brand versus just making beats and being a producer, right?
Yeah.
It's a whole new start.
Right.
And it's like, I've had successes, and I've, you know, it's surreal being at the Grammys and winning an award, or, you know, but it's never like about, like, when you're a producer, a lot of times it's not about you. It's just about the creation that you helped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you start trying to become a personal brand, and the things that you can do, and then being able to be recognized, you know what I'm saying? And I remember a year and a half ago, we did The Crate, Josh. And it was like, that was the start of my publicity, right? It wasn't my advertisement. I wasn't showing you what I did. It was somebody else showing, look at what he can do.
And you had a great episode of The Crate.
And so
You should check it out. Let's stop here.
Yeah.
The Crate is a show on All Def Music where they give a producer a box of random things. Like it could be a rubber band, a stapler, a baby bottle, whatever, and they have to use the sounds in the box to make a beat. So yours was like, first of all, I love that show.
Yeah,
and I haven't seen a bad episode, but yours, you were like, whew, man,
I tracked them down because I was like, I gotta show what I could do on the iPad.
Yeah.
But it became a thing of like, okay, now I'm getting offered opportunities because of the brand that I'm building. And so it's like back to the 213 days when it's like you start building your brand up again.
Right. And now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. How well would you take care of your car if you had to keep the same one your entire life? Well, that's how our brains work. So why don't we treat them the same way? How we care for our minds affects how we experience life. So it's important to invest time and care into keeping them healthy. There are plenty of ways to support a healthy brain, like learning a new language or taking power naps. There's also BetterHelp online therapy. Listen, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that I'm having a better life. I'm a better person, father, husband, friend, because of therapy. All right. I was able to track down that childhood trauma, see why I do what I do, make better choices, learn to rest and not work all the time. Tell myself it's okay. Give myself ways to relieve anxiety, all from therapy with BetterHelp. BetterHelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat therapy sessions. So you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. You don't have to drive. It's a big deal for me. My therapist, when I used to go, was 40 minutes away, depending on traffic. That's an hour to an hour 45, hour and a half of driving. I mean, sometimes I just don't want to do that. But all I got to do with therapy is go to my garage. Nobody can hear me. It's so much more affordable than in-person therapy. You can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. And our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/stage. That's BetterHelp.com/stage. Check them out. It'll be good for you. And now back to the show.
Right. And it starts, so all of this, like, it's a completely different thing than just being in the studio working, trying to figure out if something's going to work. This is like, stuff is going to work. You're actually doing things that are helping you build your brand again. So these are surreal moments because it's all new again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
For real, honestly.
Straight up. What's your biggest pet peeve in the industry?
Oh, biggest pet peeve. Man, people who just don't want to listen. Like people, like, you know, people who just, no, I know, I get it. Like they never, like, well, people who aren't humble. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, I know the type of skills that I have. I know what God has given me. I know the type of ways that I can try to help others. But it's so much give me instead of let me help you, let me help you.
Yeah.
You know, and I tell every young guy out there, like you're asking what are them tips, figure out ways to add value. Figure out ways to add value. I don't care what it is you're doing. If you're trying to connect with somebody, like you said, like you find the people maybe that are maybe at the lower, lower part of the totem pole, and you try to add value, even if they're an intern, but you know they're connected to something you want to be a part of. Add value to them, and then work your way up there. It doesn't matter how high you are. If that's somewhere you want to be, you're not there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
Do you get offended if people call you a beat maker?
No, because I am. You know what I mean? I mean, it's cool, right? I mean, that's not all that I am.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like negative comments on YouTube. Yeah, you can talk about me however would. Like, I know a lot of guys on YouTube will say don't have a perfect like to dislike ratio where it's all likes and no dislikes. Like you got to have hate. You got to have people.
Yes.
You know, you got to find that balance. You know, so I'm always just trying to find a balance.
You talked about a lot of the high points and like moments that you're like, man, this is insane. What's some of the I guess low points or when you've been disrespected? You don't have to say who it was.
You can,
unless you want to.
I mean, it's just there's been quite a few times that I've had to pivot. Right, I was 25 out here, coming back out. I went back home to Seattle for Christmas and came home, and I was living in Westchester, and right by the airport, and my whole studio was ransacked in my apartment, and everything except the initial keyboard that I had as 18-year-old and my initial speakers. That was the only thing that was left, probably because they were heavy as hell. Right?
Trying to steal the keyboard is like, I ain't been in the gym.
So all the work that I had from 18 to 25 were just gone, never to be seen again. And I was like, maybe this is it. I was crushed, calling my parents, crying like, damn, like, yo, like, is this what it was all supposed to be about? This is some big, like it was super transformational for me because one, I had a lot of equipment in that apartment, and then two, it's like, there's no way I can afford to buy that back. You know what I'm saying? So I had to figure out it was a blessing because now I had to figure out how to be more technologically savvy, figure out cheaper ways to do stuff.
Right.
That's what got me into tech a little bit more. Right. And then two, it was like, I got to figure out how to work with people that I don't necessarily know or trust. And that's how I built my relationship with my man, Dow Jones. And that's how we started the business, because I was like, I can't bring anybody in my house anymore. I can't.
Was it an inside job?
Yeah. It was a homie from back home that
from Washington.
He was upset because we were in a company together. We were all signed, and he wanted all his music, but he wanted all his music for his label. And I was like, yo, if you want all that beat, and you want all those beats, like you got to come pay for it. Yeah. And he just like, I'm not paying for that.
I'll show you what I'm finna do.
Yeah, he just steal. And then, they knew I was going back home. They knew the whole breakdown. But I never got the hard drives back. You know what I mean?
Your own people. Yeah. Kanye's cousin stole his laptop.
Man, come on,
Darnell. Yeah. So how does it work? Like the money aspect of beat making? Is it a one-time fee, or do you receive like in TV it's called royalties?
Yeah, same thing.
Points,
royalties, advances. Man,
is it the same every time or
no? So I mean, right, you have your advance. That's the money that people like, I'm getting 50,000 a beat. Like those guys who say I get something a beat. That's usually the advance, the first advanced payment that you're going to get.
So is that from track. the artist record label or
that's from the artist record label? Yes. Okay. So
I'm I'm a rapper.
Yep.
I get my label advance or my signing deal, and then my record label pays you to make a beat for me?
I make we go in the studio, right?
Okay.
We make the song. I made the beat. You rapped, whatever. But you're signed to the label out here. The label's going to say, okay, I want to give you a piece of paperwork. It's usually called a producer declaration. Okay. And that'll be like the first little piece of paper that says, we want to control the rights of this beat. Right? And they'll pay you what they call a front end advance. And that's basically half of what you charge. So at one point we were, getting paid $25,000, $30,000 a track. Right? It was ridiculous.
Hold on. One moment. You just say that like, yeah.
It's changed dramatically over the years. I mean, the budgets that that people had, you know, people were having $500,000 budgets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? $1 million budgets, right? And part of it, that's recording budgets. That's to record your project.
Yeah.
And so you like, say for instance, I got $20,000 for a track. So they would give me $10,000 up front. And then once we settled out and did all the full long producer agreement, that's about that thick, you know, you basically have a back end payment, but that's just your advance. Then off of that, you have your royalties, where you have performance royalties, where anytime it's played in the, you know, in the rate on the radio or in markets or, you know, in clubs, that's performance. So you have that. Anytime it was bought, whether it was CD, vinyl, record, cassette, or digital now, that's a mechanical. Or anytime it was synchronized to a TV or a film, you get paid off that. You get paid off the amount of the copyright that you own. So if we went in together, you would have 50% of the copyright. I would have 50% of the copyright as writers. The label won't own that because the label only owns the master, master recording. Me and you still own the copyright of the lyrics and the melody. So
do you ever?
There's a lot of money. There's a lot of money out there, but at the same time, as things you know have gone down in 2019, you see these younger guys that are getting in. They're making beats. And they're giving it to these artists, you know, $500, $1,000, and it becomes a hit record. And now they're like, well, the label's like, well, most of the artists that are getting beats for a lot lower than we used to pay you guys. So we don't have those type of budgets anymore.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the game is switched, and the game is, and you either can be frustrated and be the disgruntled old dude and be like, well, back in my day, you know, or you can go with the times and try to figure out how to play how it's being played right now.
You know, it's interesting. I noticed a kind of a theme through your career.
Yeah.
A word you used earlier, and now you just used be flexible, but earlier you said pivot.
Yes.
And that's something you hear in a lot of people that that have, when they're at the level that they've accomplished their goals, they talk about being able to pivot and be flexible.
Yep.
You think that's a major key?
You know, if you don't figure out how to pivot, you'll most likely end up getting burnt out, right? I just honestly believe it. Or, you know, it's think about anything in entertainment, whether it's sports or actors, or you're gonna find that point where you get hot, and then you're gonna have to figure out, do I keep pushing that way, or do I try to figure out another way to fuel myself?
Yeah.
And I think we'll all go through it. Part of my journey was the fact that, like, in 2012, I won the Grammy. I got the Key to the City in Federal Way. And it was like I had to hit records all in the same year, but that's when I found my voice. And then 3 years later, I wanted to be able to do what I wanted to do, as far as like give people all the knowledge that I've obtained over the 15 years that I've been in the game at that point. But I had to go all the way down to, I was at one mountaintop, I saw another mountaintop, and God said, you can't jump from one place to another place.
Come on.
So I had to go down.
Yeah,
I had to go down in that hill.
Down to go up.
You already know the rest. So you had to figure that out. You had to figure that out. So you had to go down.
What was the Grammy for?
Chris Brown. No
Dig
BS.
it up.
Yeah.
I wanna love you. What was it though? I didn't hear you because
No BS.
I wanted to see. You ain't make it.
Yeah. No BS.
You made it.
Yeah,
Look at Kev.
Yeah.
I ain't know you made it.
Yeah.
It's a great
And you got a Key to the City.
Fed way. I
Yeah,
gave
it's
it-
Federal
Kev,
Way.
do you have a
Yeah.
key to the city?
I don't got keys to the house.
Yeah.
Just underhand.
So right now you're still getting paid off music you made years ago.
Yeah, man.
Is that the best part about being in the music business?
I don't know. I think it's just being able to do something whatever you love. But yeah, you're constantly getting checks. You know,
ever get a check and you're like, oh, had a great month.
yeah, or you get a check like, dang, thought it was gonna be bigger than that. You know, like I mean, but that's the hard part about being in this industry is a lot of it is you don't know what it's gonna be. You know, you have a lot.
So true.
You don't
Yeah.
know.
We are making this show and we are putting everything into it.
Kevin and I talk about it like it's mainly me just going like, man, I'm so what do you think? He's like, I believe in it, Jay. I'm like, I do too, Kev. I do
you
too.
absolutely, but you don't know for
don't
sure.
know.
Yeah.
Like
You
as a creator, you're like, this is great.
Yeah.
Right.
But then you're just like, what will the world think of it?
Come on.
Will somebody want to buy it or whatever?
Yep.
Because you like, bro, this whole month, all we've done is this. You know, this is our 5th one today.
Oh, wow.
And I got to shoot another one after that. Like, but like when you love it, there's no, I mean, I'm sure you understand. Like when you're creating and doing what you love, you couldn't pay me enough to do this because me and Jay have found every single guest interesting. And we could shoot 10 producers tomorrow and ask the same questions. And it'd be equally as interesting because nobody's story is the same.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I want to know what, like, so you pivoted from music only to video and music.
Yeah.
In 5 years or 10 years, what would be great for you to see if you were at this place?
Oh man.
That's an old man. Great question.
Right.
Take your time.
Say it.
I'm going to take a sip of water and relish in the moment.
I don't know where I'm. Yeah, you know.
Thinking, Jay.
Right. Clock. But
Take
honestly, be at the top of music and technology where that meets. Doing big brand deals with. There you go, Macnology.
It's a new word. You can have it. Okay. I have no use for it.
Okay.
Tusic doesn't work. Tusic just doesn't sound good at all.
Tusic. Nope. But yeah, I mean, if I can figure out ways to help others figure out how to blend music and technology for the youth coming up, to figure out ways to get into new ways to really build their brands, as well as being able to help tech companies really fuel into music. I think if I can be in the forefront of that, that'll change.
You kind of already are though, because you're giving away. Like if I wanted to make music, I could just watch your YouTube channel. And you literally give a step-by-step way of how to make music. So, I mean, and you're doing that for free.
Right.
Have you ever thought about doing like a master class?
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah, no.
My sentence.
You could say you're a master beater.
That's good, Jay. He stuck his head back.
Oh, yeah.
Just ruined my question moment.
Man. No, well, I realized when I started on YouTube, I was like, yo, you give it away to the people for free and you tax the companies.
That's great.
That's what you do.
Tax the man.
Yeah, you just
the white man.
Why do you keep looking at me?
Because you're the man, Jay. In more ways than one.
So yeah, if I continue to build it like this, it should be pretty good.
That's super dope. Do you still find like what still gets you just as excited as you got when you were right in the beginning?
Checks. No.
Paper, right? No. Now, I mean, because I got to a point where I had made a lot of paper at one point, and I couldn't think of things to buy, and I wasn't a jewelry guy, I wasn't a car guy, I was a tech guy, and I buy all the tech, all the stuff that I wanted, and I would just become more and more bored because I was like, I just want the latest, and it was just fueling and I was like, I need less. So now it's about having the best things, but not a lot of it, like
a minimalist, so to speak.
Yeah. Trying to, but it's tough. But then too, it's like being able to help. Like when you actually get those emails and them DMs and things, and people are like, "Yo, you're helping changing my life." When I was just like those things, it's like, man, it's real. It's real. It's like it's not even. It's you know what I mean. Whatever it is, it's like you're really actually helping the people out there. And to that degree, I'm like, yo, that's more like you'll continuously get it back. You just like, just continue to help the folks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is there any artist that you haven't worked with yet that you would be like a dream collaboration between you and that artist?
Oh, man. Damn, I used to say Kanye, but.
I understand why you might have changed there.
I like his newer stuff.
I still bang with Ye. I do.
Not so much his music, opinions and stuff, his commentary. I'm joking.
Yeah, I don't. Off the top of my head, man, nope, not really. Not somebody. I've had the honor of working with some of the dopest people out there right now.
You name literally like everybody. What about Beyonce?
Beyonce,
she's been rapping
crazy
lately.
If we could get Beyonce to do like a real dope soul album, that would be crazy.
Are you saying she hasn't done some?
No, just a full on just soul R&B, just
focused. Soul album.
Soul.
I thought you said solo album.
Yeah, soul.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, the Hive will hear this.
Just
now,
had the drummer.
Before the video's even posted, they're like, someone said something negative about Beyonce. Kill him. I have another question. Your Mount Rushmore of producers.
Yep.
Who goes on there?
Man, Dr. Dre, Timberland,
The King.
Teddy Riley.
Quincy Jones, Teddy Riley. How many?
That's already 4.
That's 4. Because I wanted to be Teddy Riley growing up. That's why a lot
Teddy
of
Riley created a genre.
Oh,
yeah.
dude.
New Jack Swing. Everyone agrees.
Yes.
Teddy Riley created that sound.
that sound.
Is that like the creme de la creme of producing, to be like responsible for a type of sound?
Yeah. Come on, you think of Dr. Dre, you think of gangsta rap, right?
Manny Fresh, the
bounce. Yeah, the bounce.
Yeah.
You know,
you can keep that sound if you want it.
that was good. That was a good one.
Even Timberland like put in the baby in Aaliyah's
Come on.
song. I remember hearing that.
Yeah,
when that came out, I was like, "Is that a baby?"
Man.
And it was so memorable. And
It changed everything. He changed the course of drum programming time and time again. I mean, all those guys just, to me, and like, you know, that's my
Quincy Jones. I watched this documentary on Netflix.
Right.
This dude had a whole career producing and arranging for Frank Sinatra that I had no idea about.
Me neither.
And he not just, it wasn't like some albums you never heard of. It was like
Right.
the instrumental stuff. And then he just like stopped doing that.
Pivoted, right?
And then did something else. And then he
pivoted,
went and lived
right?
in Paris for a
Think
couple
about-
years.
That was the whole point of that documentary, is how many times he had to pivot and the things that he had to go through to get to that point.
Yeah. He jumped off that mountain and started over like countless times.
But
He started with Count Basie.
Yeah.
That's a whole different style, like big band jazz
Yeah.
to Frank Sinatra to rap.
yes,
Michael Jackson.
Yes,
Like,
Como
bro, that's
D,
all
like-
one. If you were a person who did any one of those,
Right.
you'd be a legend.
You'd be good.
He did
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
And he's still alive.
Yeah.
And had a lot of women friends
a whole lot.
at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
he might be the greatest producer of all time.
all time.
No offense.
No, hey, none taken. He is. And you know, the only thing for me was, you know, I looked at him and he, you know, what was the last thing he said on that documentary? He's like, "Is there anything you failed at?" And he was like, "Marriage." And I was like, and it just ended. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's, to me, that's like I told you know, people weeks ago. I was like, the reason I maybe not, you know, as high as some of these other guys, I said, I don't want to be that.
Dude. Justin, I have said a million times.
Yeah.
Like, Kevin Hart is the top guy in
Right.
what I'm doing right now. $89 million a year,
on.
right? And I love Kevin Hart. This is no disrespect to Kevin Hart, and this isn't really even about him. But if you were to give me $89 million in 1 year, but it cost me my nuclear family,
Yeah.
keep your money. I don't mind recording in Studio A
Yep.
with the little bit of money I have, with my friend as, you know, shooting, my wife and kids, and getting to go to a new
didn't
country
mention
every year.
it.
No,
Come
no,
on.
I did that on purpose.
Okay.
You know, but like, for real though, but because sometimes to get there, it costs you that.
Yes.
But that to me is too big a risk. That's too much to lose.
on.
Because I don't want to be in that documentary as Kev did all this, but also,
Right.
you know, his kids don't really rock with him.
I mean, I would take the 89 million and break
Yeah,
up
well,
your
because
family.
you're not married, Jay. But I respect that so
No.
much, because some things they call, you know, it's like Thanos, who's like,
Yeah.
what did it cost? Everything. And I can't give everything.
That's actually a great jumping off point for who or what is your biggest inspiration?
Man, my parents. You know, one of them. I mean, one of my biggest inspirations definitely my parents. You know, because you know, just growing up, you know, having that type of balance. You know, my parents been married almost 50 years.
Dang. How long you been married?
11, I'll be 12 this year.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I've been married 15 years this year.
Hey, man. That's
And
what's
you
Hey, man, I've been going through girls for about 12 years.
Going through girls for about 12 years.
Yeah.
yeah, man. You know, I've been with my wife since we was 22. So I mean, you know, like that was it, man. Like I was like, yo, this is not. It's not enough for me, you know, to just have all of the things, because, man, I've seen it, I've lost it, I bounced back, got it again, and it's like, for what?
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's the perspective. It's just like, nah, I'm good.
Well, because that thing, like, that's so crazy that you said that you got to a point where you had money and there was nothing to buy.
Yeah.
And you weren't even like $10 million type
No,
person.
no.
There's people who have hundreds of millions of dollars, and there's literally nothing. You know, Jeff Bezos, we were just talking about, he got divorced. $65 billion
Billions, yeah.
that they have to split. bro, what can you not buy with $1 billion that you like? Now, if I had 2, I could get it. Like that's more than some countries.
For about $1 billion, he could have got a hitman.
Domestic product.
I'm sorry, what?
GDP. Like that's more than country's whole money. He has that.
Right.
After giving that away, and she has that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, but that family thing is, bro, that is priceless.
And, you know, hopefully, you know, I mean, I don't know. Some people have their own things, but for me, that's what I didn't want to sacrifice. So, you know, a lot of the later nights in studio time, you know, or traveling for months, or, you know, all the things I didn't do as much of because I was just trying to get good work-life balance.
But it doesn't sound like you regret it.
Not at all.
That's great.
I mean, because it's just that was part of it. That was part of it for me, and I saw it early, like, yo, because I was like, I wanted a girlfriend before I knew I was gonna be popping. Because I was like, I know I'm gonna pop at some point. That was my head. At
so
22.
let me go ahead and lock this. I
gotta lock something down.
Right.
Somebody who knows me for me, who would bet on my potential versus betting on me being proven success. So yeah.
Jay Henn.
Yeah.
That was a bar right there.
Yeah.
Man, you got any more questions, Jay?
No. I don't know if you can top that.
You can't. This is like getting out on a great joke.
There you go.
Technically, my set had 5 more minutes, but I'm not going to top that. I can't do no more.
I'm out.
I did that yesterday at Baylor. I was like, I'm going to walk off on this.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Before we let you go, talk to people who are just finding out about you. Let them know where they can find you, what you're working on, anything that you want to tell people that are new to you.
Oh, man. Well, once again, this is Henny the Bizness. You can find me at all my socials. Henny the Bizness. That's HennyThabizNess. Just type in Henny on Instagram. It'll pop up, man, for sure. And, catch me doing a lot of music technology stuff on YouTube, and just trying to give back in any way I possibly can with the knowledge that I've obtained over the last 20 years in music technology, cameras, and family.
This became a radio show. Y'all stay good out here. This is Henny the Bizness. Thank you guys for watching Ask a Producer with Henny.
Yes,
this
sir.
is Big Irish J. I'm KevOnStage.
That was great.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank y'all, man.
See you next time. Appreciate you, brother.